What do you think spoken language is?
I think it's a type of language that people think.
What do you think spoken language is?
No idea.
What is spoken language? What is spoken language?
To be honest, I don't care.
Spoken language. Seems like you can't go anywhere these days without seeing people talking. But did you know there is a whole hidden code on how people communicate in this way? You didn't? Well, this video will show you how. As we ask the question,
What is spoken language?
the most common form of spoken language is spontaneous speech. It's where you've not planned what you're about to say, and you just go with the flow basically. In a nutshell, spontaneous speech is speech that isn't pre-planned, so basically, when you don't have a script. This is pretty much all of everyday speech, because it's not like you walk around with a script book, do you? Because of the unplanned nature of spontaneous speech, you might have all kinds of non-fluency features. Non-fluency features such as these. Filled pauses, sounds such as which give speakers time to think about what they're saying. False starts, which is when the speaker starts in a particular way and then changes their mind and then begins again. Repetition, which is the same word or phrase said repeatedly when the talker is thinking. And then you've got non-standard grammar, which is basically grammar which breaks the standard rule of English but still makes sense in a spoken context. And then, for when you really don't know what to say, hesitations or silent pauses. To prove how many non-fluency features we use in everyday speech, check out this interview with Jennifer Lawrence. Can you guess how many non-fluency features she uses in this 30-second segment?
Is that a fun thing to do?
Yeah, it is fun. It's fun for like the first few hours of work, and then and then like 12 hours go on with whatever stunt, and then you start getting a little exhausted, and then but yeah, it is fun.
Seems like this interview is voice pause and repetition heaven, but this is only the start of things.
Like expressing yourself in that way that you can pretend to kill people. What is it that you like?
Yeah, that's a nice one. Expressing my feelings through killing people. No, it is fun. Like playing those kind of, I mean, I'm playing a badass.
Well, there you go. If you said 11, you can have a pat on the back from me. Or do yourself. I'm not going there. And, well, that's spontaneous speech. But what about planned speech?
That's so bad.
Well, US President Barack Obama is one guy who would know a lot about formal planned speeches. We asked him if he wanted to be part of this video, but unfortunately he never got back to us. So we have the next best thing. A video ripped from the internet. This speech is about blowing up ISIS militants, so it's important that he gets his speech right. Watch out for his complicated long sentences, well-timed pauses to allow the audience to think, and a high standard of correctness in his speech.
Today, as part of an international coalition of some 60 nations, including Arab countries, our men and women in uniform continue to fight against ISIL in Iraq and in Syria. More than 2,000 coalition airstrikes have pounded these terrorists. We're disrupting their command and control and supply lines, making it harder for them to move.
See what I mean? The context here is important as well. He obviously won't use the same standard of English when he's just hanging in a bar with his mates. If that's what the US President does. If you guessed Paul Grice, you're correct. But who was he? Grice was a famous man who had a variety of maxims that people should follow in everyday speech. Grices Maxims are ideas that we have to stick to in order to have a reasonable conversation. And to show that they're still in fashion, it's now time for the official Grices Maxims Top 4. At number 4, it's a non-mover. It's the maxim of quantity, where one tries to be as informative as one possibly can, and gives as much information as is needed, and no more. Watch it be broken by this guy here.
Okay, wait a second. Let me finish this. God said if you're going to try to make the mistake, you will.
Down 2 at number 3, it's the maxim of quality, where one tries to be truthful and does not give information that is false or that is not supported by evidence. Like this guy who says I love you too to a woman who doesn't know.
But come in at 1.4.
Okay, I love you, baby.
I love you too.
Okay, bye.
Does anybody know whose phone this is?
Another non-mover at number 2, it's the maxim of manner, where one tries to be as clear, as brief and as orderly as one can in what one says, and where one avoids obscurity or ambiguity. Unlike this guy, who puts off the topic of sex for as long as he possibly can.
To 18. On the verge of it. But I first began to take a serious interest in the opposite number.
And up to at number 1, it's the maxim of relation, where one tries to be relevant and says things that are pertinent to the discussion.
Dependency adoption. There's so many ways to go, and this is like the biggest decision of our lives.
There's a hair in my coffee.
So I hope this video has helped you learn what spoken language actually is, and now go and pass your exam.
If you wanna say